Oh, God, Zoom fatigue. You're just tired of it. Even the founder of Zoom admitted that he's just sick and tired of the endless virtual meetings on his company's software. Yes, Eric Yuan, 51 years old, told a summit of leading CEOs hosted by the Wall Street Journal this past week that he had his peak of Zoom meetings when he had 19 Zoom meetings in a row in one day. Wow, 19 in one day. Could you imagine? Not me. And let me tell you, think about this. An Englishman, a Frenchman, a Spaniard, and a Dutchman were all on a Zoom call with their boss. And their boss says, "Hey, can you see me?" And they respond, "Yes, we see ya." Get it? And you see, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, just an example of the fun that we have here week after week as we talk about living the best digital life. We talk about the gadgets and gizmos, making money, saving money, your online security and privacy. It's called the Kim Komando Show. You can find us on 420 top stations around from coast to coast and in your favorite streaming radio app. And also you can get it as a podcast over at getkim.com. And we're also on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. Isn't that great? And it's called the Kim Komando Show because, after all, I'm America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. That's right. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open. I'm sure you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to, and that number is 1-888-825-5254. And I trust T-Mobile's network to keep me covered, and you should too. All right, let's get started with 5 things that you need to know about tech that's happening right now. And earlier this month, Jeff Bezos' other company, Blue Origin, posted a teaser video asking people to sign up to learn how to get their first seat to space on Blue Origin's rocket. It's called New Shepard. So we have more details. It's auctioning off one seat for an 11-minute trip to suborbital space, about 60 miles up, and then it's going to just parachute back down to Earth. And you have to submit a bid over on Blue Origin's website. And on May 19th, the highest bids will be unsealed. So you bid online for those, and then it wraps up a month later on June 12th. So the launch date set for July 20th. And that's the date that will mark 52 years, since Apollo 11's Neil Armstrong took the first steps on the surface of the moon. And the rocket seats up to 6 people. They didn't say who else was filling up the remaining 5 slots. And no word on how much it's going to go for, but I'm saying probably in excess of $1 million. And all this talk about rockets, I have Elton John's Rocket Man just stuck in my head. And I just keeps playing over and over. And I think it's going to be happening for a long, long time. All right, number 2. If you thought the tech companies were making money, you have no idea. First quarter numbers for 2021 are out for the titans of big tech. Amazon, Google, Facebook, and others. Prepare to be shocked. And since I just started talking about this story, Amazon made about $200,000 in revenue. That's right, they make about $830,000 every single minute. Amazon's a close second, about $700,000. Remember, this is 60 seconds, day and night. Alphabet, which is, of course, Google's parent company, they make about $420,000 every minute. Microsoft, $320,000 a minute. Facebook, $200,000 a minute. I actually thought that would be higher. Tesla is $80,000 every minute. Netflix, $55,000 every single minute. So if you wonder why these companies have so much power, the money train just keeps chugging along with unbelievable steam. But there's one thing to remember. No business cycle is unending. The boom just can't really last forever. So invest wisely and be careful if you open up your own distillery, because that's whiskey business. All right, number 3. Now, for most of us, getting fast and reliable internet service is super easy. The problem is in the remote areas. So President Biden has promised broadband for all in this $2 trillion, $2 trillion infrastructure plan called the Accessible, Affordable Internet for All Act. It'll cost, they think, about $100 billion. But do we really need to pay for this? There's no question that we need high-speed internet everywhere across the country, even in the remote areas. But without spending taxpayer dollars, Elon Musk and his company SpaceX, they've already signed up 500,000 customers for Starlink. And I don't know if you know what Starlink is, but we've talked about it here on the show a few times. It's a constellation of 1,400 low Earth orbiting satellites. And it's going to grow to, say, 42,000 before it's done. It's huge. And the customers are going to link to the satellites using small dishes, just like satellite TV. So the question is, why charge the taxpayers when private enterprise is already doing this? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. By the way, earlier this year, the FCC approved a $3.2 billion initiative to help low-income families stay connected. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program. As part of the plan, an eligible family is going to get $50 each month to go towards internet service. There are a few requirements to meet. We have all the details over at Komando.com. Enrollment actually opens next week, and that would be on May 12th. Number 4, this is a different kind of Apple Watch happy story. You know, we've talked about them here on the past. Like 26-year-old woman, Kansas woman, she went to the doctor. She had high heart rate notifications, and then it was diagnosed that she had a thyroid condition. Another guy collapsed, leading to the fall detection feature on the Apple Watch to automatically call 911. There are a lot of stories, but this one's a little bit different. A Utah woman was on a flight from Salt Lake City to Honolulu. She didn't know she was pregnant. Okay, she did not know. And so it became quite a surprise when she started having contractions. Now, lucky for her, listen to this. A doctor was on the Delta flight along with a physician's assistant and 3 NICU nurses who jumped in to help deliver the baby. The baby was about 12 weeks premature. There are obviously not a lot of baby medical equipment on board these flights, so they had to make do. So what they did is one of the nurses took off her Apple Watch, and they used the Apple Watch to monitor the baby's heart rate. So the flight landed safely in Hawaii. Mom and the baby were taken to a hospital where they're going to stay until they can go back to Utah. But not to be left out, it seems an iPhone also helped deliver the baby. How? Through push notifications. All right, number 5, dead but definitely not forgotten. You know, we have all these so-called influencers endorsing all kinds of products on social media. But what about dead celebrities? Yes, Marilyn Monroe's Twitter following is 1.7 million, regardless of the fact that she's been gone for 60 years. Elvis died about 45 years ago, but he has more than 1 million followers on Instagram, and both endorse products. What? Yes, Andrew Gilden is a law professor, and he discovered that, in his words, Marilyn Monroe survives today as a highly paid celebrity endorser, and her state is controlled by individuals with zero personal connections to her. The same thing for Elvis, the same thing for Muhammad Ali. These dead endorsements are pretty common in social media, and dead celebrities are even taking a stand on politics and police brutality. Wow. And I always thought, like, what if you buy a bad product endorsed by someone who's dead? I mean, wouldn't you love to see that lawsuit? I mean, whoever's ever running the Elvis account has got to be all shook up. Coming up in just a few moments, do you sleep next to your phone? Let me tell you some reasons why that's just a really, really bad idea. And how about we start this hour with Joy in Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. Hello there, Joy.
Hello.
Welcome. What's going on?
Thank you so much for having things. Well, I called with regard to identity theft and the fraud that the many occurrences that I've had. The most recent was approximately a year ago, but I've had identity theft 4 times in the last 2 years.
Gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I work for a company that has all kinds of firewalls, but they don't seem to help. I use the internet continuously for everything, for my banking, for purchasing on the different websites and whatever, but the firewalls don't seem to help me at all. And I'm going to be losing those firewalls shortly, so I need some way to protect myself on my personal computer.
Okay, so you're using a company computer, and it's got security, and your identity has been compromised 4 times? Wow, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It is bad because I have so many websites that I use. I have to change something like 40 different passcodes every time.
So when you say your identity, I mean seriously, like, do you have like LifeLock or Identity Guard or anything like that?
I don't really know, and you know, I do get notified that there is an issue. Is there any way, though, to protect from the issue instead of, being notified?
Well, yeah, it sounds like we need to just go, start from scratch. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're just I'm going to go really quickly, but I don't want you to freak out and try to write everything down because I'll put it all in a tip for you. So let's just have a conversation. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first of all is you need to make sure that whatever you're doing online, that you set up your accounts the right way. So you're going to have a super unique password, good password for each of your accounts. You're also going to set up what's called two-factor authentication. That's so if somebody tries to change your password, Joy, is that you get a phone call or you get a text, probably a text message or an email. All right. That's number one. Okay. Then I also want you to look at your credit cards. And with your credit cards, make sure that you have it set up so that if your credit card's used at any given moment and that card is not present, that you get a text or an email. So this way it helps you keep tabs on what's going on with your finances. Also, probably want you to check to make sure that your Wi-Fi is not shareable by your neighbors. Do you think that's a possibility?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't know how to check it.
All right. Well, then we really need some help here, okay? Because here's the deal: if you just turned on your Wi-Fi and you didn't change your password or anything, is that anybody can jump on, and then they can see every single thing that you type in, every keystroke that you type in. So that's also something that's really important. You want to get some security software, and in addition to that, if you're doing anything online, like your banking or finances, and you want to remain anonymous online, you don't want anybody to get in there, is that you can use what's called a VPN. And the VPN, it is like an encrypted tunnel. It's like the secret tunnel that only your data goes through and somebody can't tap into it. So it sounds to me, Joy, you need a total, I'm not saying a makeover, because you're beautiful. I'm not giving you a beauty makeover. I want to give you a security makeover. So we're going to have to start from scratch because you should not be hacked 4 times. You should not have your identity stolen 4 times in 2 years. It's just not that. So because you are wicked smart. Can you say wicked smart in that Boston accent?
I don't think I have a Boston accent. I probably still have a Chicago one.
Oh, I was hoping that you could say wicked smart, or something like that.
Because you can do it much better than I.
Well, you live in a beautiful part of our country there in Martha's Vineyard.
I do.
You really do. So here's what we'll do. Do you get our newsletters?
I don't, but I would love to do that. My daughter did recommend you, and that's how I got connected.
Okay.
I'd love to.
Okay, so what you do is you go to komando.com/subscribe. Okay. And once you go there, is that you can sign up for a couple of newsletters. Get the Windows one, get the tip. Make sure that you sign up for the current. That's only comes out twice a week. And then we also have breaking news alerts. And so what I want you to do is start increasing your knowledge base of all things digital. And then because you get the tips newsletters, that when we write this out, Security Basics 101 is that we will make sure that we send that out to everybody on the list, but Joy will make sure that we send it directly to you. And thanks again for your call. If you're sleeping next to your phone, let me tell you why it's a bad idea. Well, first of all, you want to make sure that you don't have it charging overnight, because then that'll ruin the battery cycles. But even if your phone is on silent, it's buzzing, you still may get buzzes from text, email, social media. But more importantly, some people sleep with their phones directly under the blanket, even under their pillow. Now, let me tell you, phones are not designed to be covered completely. And then also, maybe you're using these cheap charging cables. They can lead to fires. We've got links to some really great products and some more ideas of how you can protect yourself. I know you want to keep your phone near you overnight, but also do not disturb mode is really fabulous. So only the people that you want to get through will get through, say, in the middle of the night. And that's, of course, over at Komando.com. Stay right where you are. We have more of your phone calls. And, of course, our digital life hack tip about travel you don't want to miss. All right, we all know about Google Maps, right? We love that we can get directions, turn-by-turn directions. But here's the deal, is that it obviously uses the GPS location on your phone, and then every time you look for something, look up an address, you go somewhere, it actually stores your current location to your profile. And it's really never deleted from your account. So that means that you can go back and check where you were on this day a month ago, a day ago, 3 years ago or 5 years ago. It's found in the activity controls section of your Google account, and you can turn it off. I can't give you the directions on the air, but if you go to activity controls, you want to look for something that says data and personalization. If you didn't get all that, we have the step-by-step directions posted, of course, over at Komando.com, including the instructions to delete all of your location history data, because I know, like your GPS app, you'd be lost without me. Paul in Augusta, Georgia. Hi there, Paul.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good day. Hi from handsome Harley Drew in Augusta, Georgia. He's a good friend of mine. I spent hours with Harley. He was our spokesperson.
Oh,
and he
great.
told me he loved tech, computers, and beautiful women. He said, Kim checks all 3 boxes.
Well, tell Handsome I said hello.
I'll do it.
He's a good man.
He is. Kim, I've got a problem. I just heard your iDrive. I've been trying to get my company backed up in the cloud. Not backed up. I want to be in the cloud and access it from any device.
Okay.
And in the year, I've tried lots of different things, and I've ended up with multiple copies of multiple files across multiple devices and still haven't gotten it done.
Well, what's the goal, Paul? What is it? What are you trying to accomplish?
I want to be able to access any file from an iPhone, iPad, or PC.
Okay. And those files are, what kind of business are you in?
We do lifetime coating, roofing, and gutters.
Okay. And so are these invoices, client records, documents?
It's all sorts of things. We use QuickBooks Online, and so I can get to the invoices, and it's worked well and kind of makes me feel good about going to the cloud. We've had physical backups. We have a server and physical backups that we would swap out each week to take one off-site just in case of a fire or something like that. And when we started this, we started uploading documents, and it's a 6-week process, and I saw iDrive will send you a physical drive.
Yes, yeah. So if you've got a lot.
Copy it on and mail it to them, and then a few days later, you're up to go because a lot changes in 6 weeks. And how do you coordinate all that stuff in the 6 weeks?
And then once you have it in the cloud, it does an incremental backup. So any files that changed would be sent to the iDrive account. So it's not like you have
to... Does iDrive have their software that does that, Kim?
Yes.
Do they have a sync? Okay.
Yeah, and it's really easy to use. The reason why I was asking, like, what you're trying to put in the cloud, see, there are different things. I mean, you're using QuickBooks, and that's called, like, software as a service. So you're collaborating, you're getting things done in real time, and you're sending out payments and receiving payments, and I'm sure you have vendors in there and all kinds of things, right?
Right.
And then you have collaboration that maybe the team does on documents, on marketing materials, graphics, designs, and maybe even vendors will collaborate on different opportunities or things that you're working on. I mean, if the job is big enough, right? If you're going to go do an entire community. Yeah,
that would be nice if I could set that up where vendors could have access to their stuff. Would be a big plus.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the third thing, and that's what you're talking about, is the data backup. Okay, so the data backup is for the I want to use the word stuff, Paul. Okay, the stuff that you have in the office that is on computers that you want to make sure that you always have a copy of. Okay,
right.
So
Excel, Word, all those things.
Okay, so that's where the data backup comes in. So, but any business really, no matter what the size, whether you have 2 employees or 100 employees, I have really found with us that it can streamline processes when you can be working in real time on certain documents in certain projects. So if you had an RFP, for example, do you get RFPs?
Yes.
Okay,
not
so
much,
all right.
Yes.
Well, let's say you had an RFP for something, and you needed people in your company to help fill in the blanks, and then you needed a vendor or two to fill in a couple of blanks. So you have this document that's living, breathing in the cloud, and then you can restrict access to it by saying, you are the administrator, Paul is the administrator, you own this. Nobody can make a copy of it. You can set different restrictions. You can make it so somebody can only look at it. You can make it so somebody can edit it. You can make it so it's not shareable outside the organization. So,
and I can set who can do what? in there? I would be able to choose that?
Yes.
What levels of participation they would have?
Exactly. So, and when we've tried to do this with Microsoft Office and Office 365, it was a little cumbersome. Okay, and I know that a lot of people like Microsoft Outlook, and they really like Microsoft Word for some reason. And when you don't, I mean, they're great products. But what we've done is we have moved the Office documents into the cloud using Google Drive. So and we also have a backup service, iDrive. So you have documents that you have in the cloud that are living, breathing, as I said, and you can control access to. Then you have your backup mechanism, like you said. iDrive is a sponsor, so everybody knows. They will mail you a drive, which is just fabulous. You load that sucker up, you mail it back to them, they're going to put it up in the cloud, and then next time you want to back it up, you're not going to back up everything that's on the hard drive. It's going to know only the files that have changed. And then,
Kim, is it possible to get it all into the cloud? I mean, if I used iDrive or Google Drive, could I have everything there in the cloud and nothing on the server any longer?
Yes, correct. Yes, you can.
Okay.
Now, there is a downside to this, is that if your internet goes out, you're out of luck. Okay, because you can't.
Books went out on payday once, and that happened.
Yes, and so you can work on documents offline. You can access it from any device, but I have found sometimes, like I'll be working at home. Now it doesn't happen here in the studios, but I'm working at home, and you see that Cox truck down the street. And for anybody in my neighborhood, when we see the Cox truck, somebody is losing a line, okay? Something's bad. And you're like, no, don't do that. One time, Paul, I was set to do the show during the pandemic from my home, because we weren't in the studios. And I went to do the show, and sure enough, I had no internet. I drove a block away, and I saw the Cox truck. I'm like, oh, dang it was you again. Stop this already. So that's
what about the 5G on your phone. Does that work now?
Oh, it does. I have 5G, but I don't know if we could really get all the transmissions that we need to for the videos and all that other great stuff.
Right. But that would probably work for me on data downloads. And things.
Exactly.
Working on a Word document with the cell phone.
So it becomes a strategy. It's not something that you can say, we're only going to do this, or we're just going to do this. In order to grow your business, you need to think, what do I do to keep this going? And of course, growing your business means also social media, email marketing, some YouTube videos. It's a big deal now to own a business.
Mm-hmm. Kim, would the iDrive back up directly from Google Drive?
Well, you don't need a backup from Google Drive, because everything will be in the cloud. So you don't.
Would iDrive do the same thing that Google Drive does?
It does, but not really. What it does is it will put all your files in the cloud. It won't allow you to edit the files, share, collaborate, do anything like that. It's strictly a backup service in the cloud, but on your iPad, on your phone, on your Android, whatever it may be, is that you can still have access to that particular file from the iDrive app. So you have 3 different things that you're looking at. You've got QuickBooks, you've got a Google Drive, and then you've got iDrive. If you have any questions after this, Paul, happy to set you up with somebody over at iDrive so you can speak directly to them, and they can tell you exactly how it works. And be sure, use promo code Kim. You're going to save some money, right? Yes. Hey, we have our digital life hack coming up in just a moment, and thank you for your call today, Paul. This week is brought to you by Expressvpn. Here's something interesting. Internet service providers don't just make money off subscription fees. They also log your internet activity and then sell your history and data to big tech companies. So what's the best way to make sure that 100% of your data is fully encrypted and that your internet provider can't get a hold of it? Expressvpn. Expressvpn creates a secure tunnel between all your devices and the internet so that everything that you do online is encrypted. It reroutes your connection through a secure server. It blocks your internet provider from seeing everything that you do online. ExpressVPN works on all your devices, your tablets, your smart TVs, even your router, so your entire family can always stay protected. And ExpressVPN is so simple to use. Just open up the app, tap one button to connect. That's it. And ExpressVPN won't slow you down. It's really fast. So protect your data at expressvpn.com/Kim, and you're going to get 3 extra months of ExpressVPN for free. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. All right, this week's digital life hack, so excited to bring it to you because we're all tired of sitting at home. Aren't you? So tired of watching Netflix. I am too. So we all have travel on our mind. So we put together 7 travel hacks that are going to save you time and money on your next trip. Number 1, I want you to take photos of all your IDs, your medical cards, your passport, your ID, and then you're going to put them in a file inside Apple Notes in case you lose it. Another idea is also you can save it as a PDF and put it in whatever ebook app that you're using. So that's way if you're not online, you can still have access to everything. And of course, if you lose everything, if you lose your phone, your ID, I just want to let you know that the TSA still has a way for you to get onto the plane. It's some steps, but we've got it all on the website. You can also take a look at getting what's called a digital driver's license. And many states, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Iowa, Maryland, Oklahoma, Texas, Wyoming, there's a whole slew of states. We have them listed here, is that now you can put your driver's license as an app on your phone, which is really handy. Google has this site, google.com/travel, that will allow you to put all of your confirmation, reservations, and bookings, so they're all online, and that's really handy. You can also save your boarding pass in Apple and Google Wallet apps, which is terrific. I want you to also alert your credit card companies that you're traveling, and make sure that you have your credit card set up, like what I spoke to Joy about, so that any time that there's a transaction, you actually get a text message or an email. There are also some trackers for your stuff. There's tile trackers and Apple AirTags, so in case you lose something, you know exactly where it is. You get a notification. And always be on the lookout for any type of travel scams. Right now, if you are typing in your airline confirmation number in Google, I want you to make sure, be positive that you are actually on the airline or travel website. And be careful of any type of website that looks like it's just too good to be true. Oh my gosh, $99 fares from New York to Honolulu? Sign me up. Probably not true. We have links to all 7 of these that you want to share, love, and remember. Head over to Komando.com, and when you're there, hit that button that says Kim Show. All right, still to come, there's a hidden setting in your browser that will reveal hacked passwords. What is that? That's coming up in more of your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, listen, we have the show here, and of course, you can get the Kim Komando Show, the national radio show, as a podcast over at getkim.com. But we also have a whole bunch of other podcasts. We've got Kim Komando Explains, and I sat down, you may remember his name, because I've had him on the show a few times, Itai Moyora. And we talk about cybercrime and nation-state attacks and passwords and ransomware and some new things that the hackers and scammers are doing that you don't want to miss. So you can get that over at Kim Komando Explains. Then we have Tech Refresh with Kim Komando and friends, and then we have our daily tech updates. So wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, Pandora, Tuned In, the list goes on and on. Also over at komando.com/podcast. Just click the old subscribe button. And if you love our podcast, and I know you do, wouldn't, is that make sure that you give us a great 5-star review and say a few kind words too. Mike in Duluth, Minnesota. Hi there, Mike.
Hey, Kim, it's great to talk to you. Thank you very much for taking my call. I love your show. You're so knowledgeable. I'm so happy to talk to you.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm here. Glad that you're here too. So what's going on?
Hey, you're the only person that I honestly think can save me here. I've got a pair of older Bo 901 speakers. They're like Series 5 or Series 6. So they're not the oldest of the old, but they're still like 30 years old, give or take. And when the person came to install the speakers, they said, we're going to be lucky, to hook it up with this receiver that's also equally 30 years old. I don't want a 30-year-old receiver.
Okay, well,
I want to be able to use like my iPhone and Bluetooth, iTunes to the receiver. I need a solution. I can't find an answer no matter what.
Well, here, let me tell you, is that you have come to the right place. Okay, fear not, dear Michael. Because when you sent an email, is that I went over to our IT geniuses And I have two IT geniuses. These are the two guys that I go to when I have a question, Mike, right? And
Yes.
one in particular, IT genius Jeremy, well, John is amazing, and so is Jeremy. Jeremy has some broadcast engineering background, but he doesn't like me to know that. Okay. As a matter of fact, because he hides that skill set from me. He does. And so,
well, of course, because then you're going to use them all the time.
Exactly. But you know what? But over time, he's let it slip, and I've given him some things. And let me tell you, he's got this studio running because, I mean, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, I mean, he's the guy. So anyway, so Jeremy sat down, and he has figured out everything that you need. He's figured out the receiver, the pre-out RCA, and how you're going to cook all that up, how you're going to leave them connected. You're going to turn the input into it, and then you control everything from the new receiver. And he wrote this whole thing up for me to show me exactly how this would work. So what I'm going to do, Mike, is I'm going to share it with you. Okay, so
I am so ready, Kim. My gosh, you're the guy. You're the goddess of radio. But I mean, you're so knowledgeable. I just thank you.
Well, Mike, I tell you, I can't take credit for this one. This is all of Jeremy and John putting this together. And so let me tell you, folks, if you've got some old speakers and you want to be able to bring them into the 21st century, is that we're going to post some links for what Mike's going to be using, and you might be able to use this stuff too over inside the Q&A forum inside the Komando community. And it's free to browse. You do have to pay to post, and it's just a few bucks a month. But again, that's komando.com/community, and Mike will send that out to you directly. And thank you so much for your call and also for your kind words. Coming right back, there's a hidden setting in your browser that will show you if your passwords have been hacked. Yes, it's true. I'm going to tell you more about that still to come this hour of the Kim Komando Show. Well, browsers actually offer that. Google Chrome has something called the password checkup. Firefox has something called Monitor. Microsoft Edge has it. Apple Safari. And what they do is that they give you like little triangles when they say, wow, we think that somebody has gotten this password from you. And if you want to learn more about it, we've got the steps on how to take a look at all that good stuff over on the website over at komando.com. Just hit the link, of course, that says Kim Show. You want to stay right where you are. We've got DIY security tips. We got more of your great phone calls you don't want to miss here on the West Star Multimedia Network. Hey, thanks for watching a past episode of my national radio show. That's why it's called The Kim Komando Show Rewind. Now, to get the entire show, all 3 hours, when it airs live, or you can get on demand, head over to getkim.com and you can become a member of the Komando community. There are a ton of perks. Aside from just the show, you get free ebooks, a place to get answers to your tech questions, and more of me. So come on, what are you waiting for? Click that link right now and become a member. And thank you.